All righty, that would be fun. Now, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about where we are in the whole scheme of things as far as the intel goes. On Tuesday night, we kind of told you that we were in a pretty good place for this to go at any moment. And I have to tell you that tonight is even more so that way. The information that I've gotten today is pointing toward really the immediacy of it. There have been some things that have occurred, so let's talk about them. In terms of Iraq, because we tend to start there, Iraq, they've had the take back of Mosul, they've had that happen, but they haven't really announced it or talked about it yet openly. So my understanding was Tuesday that Prime Minister Abadi did an audio and video recording, in other words, of an announcement that should be aired tomorrow morning. No, check that. My bad. I'm confusing. It's supposed to be aired Monday. Hold on a minute. I'm getting a refresh here. Hold on. I believe it's going to be aired on Saturday. That's right. Thank you. Saturday, we expect an announcement to be made about Iraq. Now, this would be including the liberation of Mosul. It should include the sovereignty aspect of Iraq. It should also include the language like redenomination of their currency. Now, we all know revaluation, we know reinstatement. Those terms, RV and RI, are terms that we've used for years and years and years. But the term redenomination is going to be utilized, I understand, because it means that their lower denominations are now in play and are out, and he'll be able to talk about those. Those, my understanding, should be at the banks and at the ATMs and ready to go if they're not already out. That's sort of the final step, we thought, for Iraq when they have the new lower denominations without the 3 zeros on them. In other words, the 5s, the 10s, the 20s, I believe 50s, which they did have before, and 100 dinar notes. When they have those lower denominations out, that was like, okay, that's it. It's go time. And we expect that, and we expect an announcement to that effect. We also know that they have electricity on all over the country now. They do have electricity back everywhere. And that means that they can obviously have their ATMs powered up, all their banks online. They have a whole new financial system, completely new. It's been completely redone. And that new financial system is something that will also probably be announced. So they're also, and they may talk about this as well, they're also new members in the World Trade Organization. So you've got quite a bit happening around the sovereignty and the redenomination, if you will, of Iraq, along with the liberation of Mosul. So that pre-taped audio-video announcement made on Tuesday will be aired on Saturday in the mosque in the morning. Okay, early. That's a pretty early thing over there. So that's positive for us. We've been looking for something like that for a while. We thought we've had the announcement take place, but this is going to put them back on the map again, I guess you would say, as an international player. Now, we know that the rate, and I've talked about rates before, we're not going to get into it tonight, but their rates are continuing to go up. This dinar is going to be an amazing currency by about May 5th. We think it's going to be traded between hedge fund managers and traders. All of our currencies in that first basket will be traded and elevated in value, even above the values that I talked to you about a week ago Tuesday, I believe it was, if I remember right. But it's really amazing. So we can say that Iraq is ready to go. They've been ready. That Mosul takeback's been taken back for weeks now. But they've had a few little fine-tunings. They've had a couple car bombings. They did lose electricity for a little while. They had to come back in and kind of fix that in the western part of Mosul. I mean, there have been a few issues here and there. And the youth in Mosul have sort of grouped together and have started a cleanup program over there to clean up the homes and the buildings and the streets and everything, and they've been sort of volunteering to do that in a very positive way since ISIS was cleared out. And that's very positive, and I believe they're also being rewarded for that financially as well, from what I understand. So that's good news. Let's see, internationally, we know that North Korea has been a challenge and still continues to sort of be a threat, but I'm getting information that sort of looks like they may have reached some kind of an agreement there. They may have actually reached something that we can't really go into, but it looks positive. Let me put it this way. It looks like the reunification of North and South Korea that we'd all love to see is something that is in the offing. That it really is something that could be coming here to us. And I'm excited to hear about that. So as far as things happening internationally, everything is moving along well. The USN is what we call the dollar, the TRNs, the tradable new currency that we have that's gold-backed. My understanding is if it's not yet being traded, it is on the screens in Hong Kong and Singapore, ready to begin trading this new gold-backed currency. We also should get some announcements, I believe, Saturday from our president, Donald Trump. And, I'm excited about that possibility too. And it may be something regarding our gold-backed currency. Hopefully it will be. Because we know we've got the 1st of May starting on Monday. We also know that this whole GCR, our understanding is, and I hate the term deadline anymore, or back wall, but we do believe that we're pushing up against it now. And we do think that we are in a position now that everything is sort of in its completion stage to where our Tier 4, which is kind of the large group that we call the Internet group, are next to go. It appears that Tiers 1, 2, and 3 are finally truly complete. We think the core groups and the subgroups have been paid and completed this afternoon. I mean, that's how close that was. And our understanding is that once that was completed, there might be a reset of rates again, which would be positive for us, actually, and that we would very, very shortly be looking to receive the toll-free number. And then I would, of course, take that as instructed with whatever protocol comes with that and put that out for the listeners of the Big Call, as well as put it out to a couple of sites so that it could be so it could be seen online, and everybody could set their appointments and get about their lives. That's the goal, and that's what we would do. So just realize that, I'm set to receive that call at any time now, and it could happen. Well, I just could tell you it could happen at any moment. We don't believe there's anything that is in the way at this point. And if there were something, we believe they've already resolved it. And we're just literally set on go at any moment. So we know that prosperity packages are set to go out shortly after we get the heads up. I mean, this is going to be the closest thing to an actual shotgun start, if you will. We know that a lot of groups and some of these early adopters have been compensated, and we know in some ways they've been partially paid, and they have funds showing in accounts that will be available to them, let's say Monday. Their so-called start date would be on Monday for that. And that may as well be a date that's used for us if we get started between now and then. You know what I mean? As a date that we would have, let's call it full availability to our funds. I've been told that today. So I do believe that we will get started before then. That's my understanding, is that we'll have the number, put it out, and we'll set our appointments and get started. I have heard some specific times, and it's not wise for me to put those out because we don't know for sure if that's what's going to happen. We have been sort of delayed a little bit here and a little bit there, as you know, or we would have gone between, Tuesday's call and now. But we haven't. We're still waiting. But it's all good in the sense that things have been happening to move this along a little further, like the payment of the core groups and the subgroups. And that takes care of tiers 1, 2, and 3, and tier 4, which is us, is next. Now, the so-called John Q. public, the ones that may have been gifted or bought stuff years ago and put it away in a drawer and have kind of just stayed out and forgotten about it, John Q. public will probably start a little later. I don't believe they will start with us. I think they'll start, I've been hearing dates like May 11th, May 12th, in that time frame. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But I really think it's funny because I think with the resetting of rates and the hedge fund guys and the traders, trading up these new currencies that have been exotic in a sense, that are no longer exotic, that's going to end up being a benefit for us, because even the so-called screen rates that are being seen now on back screens that we kind of talked about last week, those are, what I understand now, privately negotiable rates for our group, but they don't require an NDA. And true of the ZIM, like we usually concentrate on the ZIM in terms of the NDA, but as far as the Dong and the Rupiah, they're right there together. And the dinar is higher, but of course it's also these higher screen rates are sort of privately negotiable, but without an NDA, from what I'm understanding, which is cool, very cool. We've talked about helping the veterans. We've talked about the Veterans Retreat Network. I've talked about another group that I'm going to start, which is the Veterans Resource Network, which is a way to add resources to a number of existing veterans organizations that are already 501c3s or foundations, or situations where they're already being funded, but they just need more money. They just need, they may have a good purpose. They may have something that's really sort of rock and rolling, but it's small, and maybe they need to expand, and maybe they just need the funds to do that. That's what I'm going to use my Veterans Resource Network to do. But the Veterans Retreat Network, that's something that we're going to have available for the veterans to participate in. And I was interested in hearing President Trump today talk about the veterans and the VA, the Veterans Administration, and a new executive order that he signed today to give them sort of more oversight, which was a great idea and much needed. And he's already done some amazing things with the VA so that they can have health care at any doctor, not just through the VA. And the wait times have been knocked way down. I think they've had 7-day, 8-day, 9-day, even 12-day wait times. And some of the guys have had things happen where they, could have had a quick cure to take care of their situation. In some cases, veterans have died because they couldn't get to see the doctor in time. And all of that's going to change. So I'm really happy that the new administrator of the Veterans Administration is in place, and that President Trump is taken and Vice President Pence are looking very, very strongly at making serious changes to that. Now, what are we going to do? We're not working directly with the VA or any part of the government in what we're doing, but what we're doing is creating the Veterans Retreat Network so that the veterans can get things that they're not getting through the VA through us, through our network. And that'll be job training, it'll be PTS counseling, it'll be, employment, rebuilding of assets that we have on our properties for the veterans, the venues. We've got construction jobs. We've got a lot. We've got a lot that we have to offer them. And our intention is to be the largest employer of veterans in the country. We're going to have at least like an 80-20 ratio, veterans to non-veterans. It's still there, and it's what we're going to do. So just so you know, I'm excited about that. What I need you guys to do